So one of the reasons that it can be considered a card of illusion is that it appears to be one way. It appears to be emitting its own light, but it's really a reflection of the light of the sun. So sometimes this can be a card of illusion, or things that aren't what they seem to be. Things that change, like the moon waxes and wanes, whereas the light of the sun is constant as long as it's in the sky where we live, wherever we are on the earth. But the moon's light changes. It waxes and it wanes. So it's a card about changeability, um, testing things to see if they're true or illusion. And it's also about finding balance, and letting those deep emotions come up. You can see in the card there's two towers, and on either side of them there's a wolf and a dog. This wolf represents the wild side of ourselves, the side that is emotional, that may be irrational, it's right brain, it's creative, it's wild. And then this dog represents the domesticated side of ourselves, the side that's been tamed, where experience causes the dog to make decisions. It's more like left brain. So it's really a balance between left brain and right brain. And what this symbol represents, this lobster or crab that's coming up from the depths of the waters always represent emotion. And so this crab or this lobster represents deep emotions coming up to the surface and allowing them in the soft, gentle light of the moon to come up, to find that balance, to find out what is true for you, to find out what it is that you feel. Sometimes I look at this as a Jungian archetype of, or symbol for the subconscious, or subconscious feelings coming up for analysis, for testing out between the left brain and the right brain, saying what is true, what is changeable, and what is solid, what's illusion and what's real, what do I feel versus what do I think. So when this is in the reverse position, what it's saying to me, Aquarius, and sometimes this can be true of Aquarius, is that there may be some fear, resistant emotions come out. There may be some way in which there is a block to allowing this lobster, this inner emotion to come to the surface. So see, and also in reverse, it can be saying that you're trusting things that are illusions, or that there may be things that are appearing to be one way, and that you may be believing them to be real when really they're changeable or they're in flux. You may believe it to be solid when really it's impermeable. This card has a lot of Neptune energy, which represents illusion, fantasy. So see, when this card's in reverse, see if you can tune into what your feelings are. Allow those deep subconscious feelings to come up for review, and don't believe in things on their first appearance. Stick around to see what's tried and true. Don't base something on just the light of one particular night or one particular day. See if you can go the full cycle of something and let it be seen for what it is. You do actually have the truth showing up for you. So there is a way. This card is Ace of Swords, which is a new beginning. It also represents your element, Aquarius, which is the air element, which has to do with the mental realm. So it has to do with thoughts, analysis, logic, reason. And when Ace of Swords shows up, Ace of Swords is the card that I call truth with a capital T. And so it's victorious, it's clear, it's sharp, it cuts through any nonsense. It's just real. And so when this card shows up, I often call this card the truth will set you free. It's like an Excalibur card. There is an alignment with the truth here at the beginning of August for you. And you can basically cut through whatever fog is going to be happening. It's saying to me with these two cards is that you will not tolerate illusion. You will not tolerate falseness. You're going to be looking at what is real, what is true, what is absolute. That's another card. And there's a new beginning here, a new alignment with the truth. Whereas in the past, you may have believed in things that were not real, may have gone along with certain fantasies, may have been sort of going along with deep-seated feelings that cause you not to see things clearly. You know, the light of the moon illuminates things, but not in a clear way. But now this is like the clear light of day, Ace of Swords. So there may be some truth that you are recognizing at the beginning of August. See if you can align yourself with this, because it is very clear, crisp energy, and it's the beginning of a new era of sort of like the new light of day. Aces are always new beginnings. So it's a new cycle of alignment with the truth. What's also going on, Aquarius, is you might be thinking about joint finances with someone who's a love partner or in a love relationship. It's funny because Two of Coins represents joint finances, or it can represent juggling money. In the Rider-Waite, this is a juggler, and he's standing on one foot. And he's saying, you know, I might need to borrow from this project to go pay over here. Your money may be stretched when this is showing up, or it may be like a negotiation, a contract. There's two sides of the coin here. So you might be in dialogue about money with a partner, or with, you know, someone that a business partner or a romantic partner. Either way, you could be talking about money. Two is often a card of dialogue, and it's a card of real flexibility. So it says be flexible, be open. There's two different ways this card can go. Is that in some ways it can feel like you're overstretched, like you're having to stand on one foot, you're having to juggle these balls in the air. It can feel very precarious, or it can feel unstable. But it's also a card of flexibility and fun. So it can mean like, here I am standing on one foot, juggling these balls, watch me do it. I'm so capable that I can do all of this. I can change on a dime. I can go up or I can go down. I can go left or I can go right. I can adapt to my changing circumstances. So see if you can adapt a sense of fun, because that's available in this card. Or it could be stressed out. So just be flexible. This card, Knight of Cups, is a card of the message of the heart. So it can be a romantic partner. It could be you expressing your romantic feelings. Cups represent the heart and emotions. So it could be expressing a message of love to someone else, or it could be receiving a message of love. And often this is a water sign. So Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces could all be showing up as this card. And they're usually, you know, clever, romantic, creative, playful types, these knights. But they're in the reverse position. So I'm getting the sense, for some reason, that they're not really taking you serious. Like if you're saying, we need to have a talk about money, honey. You know, I'm getting the sense that if your partner's a water sign, they're like, yeah, whatever. We'll get around to that. I'm just going to go be a knight. I'm going to go be carefree and playful and romantic and fun. And then that you're trying to have a serious conversation, but they're not seeing eye to eye with you on that, or they're not showing up. For some reason, there's some way that the message of love, the messenger of the heart, or the person who is the water sign, who is in the heart position to you, they're not seeing eye to eye with you. You're pretty much in alignment with the truth, like, oh my God, we're getting down to our last penny here, or we need to adjust our budget, or you're just being very realistic in terms of talking about finances, addressing the finances, whatever's going on, and they are not really wanting to hear it. They're not really addressing it with you, or there's some sort of way that the message of love is not coming through. So you might have to just know that they're coming from a place of they're not really recognizing things right now. They're not being realistic. But you have this truth showing up. So perhaps you need to be the one who's being adaptable, flexible, and addressing the issue of assets, money, partnership, finances, that sort of thing. I wouldn't recommend at this point, Aquarius, if you are thinking about getting into a partnership, especially financially, with a young water sign. They're not really going to be respecting what's going on as far as assets You know, you might want things to be balanced and even, and they're not. They're in the reverse position, so they're not really hearing that. There is at the middle of the month, there's something that may be ending, Aquarius, and you may need to take some time out to think about it or reflect upon it. This card is death, which does not necessarily mean a literal death. A lot of people are afraid of this card, and there's not really any reason to be afraid of it. It's just the ending of a cycle. And that's part of nature, that's a part of life. You can see with this rose, there's no rose that has lasted forever. A rose blooms, and then it dies, and then the seeds create new life. So, you know, birth and death are really opposite ends, or they're the same, they're opposite ends of the same process, and they're necessary for each other. So all that death signals is it's the end of a certain cycle of something. And I see in some ways that you may have known that this is coming. You may not have seen this coming, but because it's in the upright position, it's coming through forthrightly. It's coming through honestly. It is something that's wrapping up, something that's closing out, and it's basically showing that you just need to have an allowance for the petals to fall off of this rose. Death, which is time, is coming and cutting the rose, and it's really allowing for new life to happen. There may be some sadness that you have about acknowledging the end of this cycle. This is Five of Cups, and you can see in this figure that there's grief. You know, he's sad about the 3 cups that are spilled in the foreground, and it may be related to this loss or the ending of the cycle. But you can see in this card that in Five of Cups, if you turn around, there's always there's more love available to you. If you can take your focus off of what is lost, there's still 2 more cups standing and waiting for you. So this is really a card of just mourning, of being sad, of grieving over the loss. And the sense that I get is that you're going to just need to take some time out, Aquarius, to rest. You may be resisting taking a time out, but you really just need to have some R&R. That's what this card is about. This card is Four of Swords, which is, you can see there's a soldier here who is resting. He's taking time to regain his strength to fight another day. This is a real card of reflection, of being quiet and taking time to think about things, to just let your experience wash over you. It's a card of inaction and not you know, just putting down the swords, to just reflect on things, take a time out, take a breather, sometimes go on retreat is what is indicated by this card. And with these cards in reverse, what it's saying is that you may have in the middle of the month some resistance, some fear, some doubt about actually taking time out to process and think about whatever cycle completed here, or whatever was lost here, whatever has come to a natural end. See if you can take a time out to let yourself grieve about it. Let yourself acknowledge and just recoup and regather yourself, because these things are necessary. These are part of what's going on. And in the reverse position, it says you may not be allowing yourself time to grieve or time to think about things or reflect or just be quiet, like take a time out. That's gonna benefit you, Aquarius. So this is what's showing up for you. Please allow that to happen, and please don't have fear or doubts or resistance against doing that, because it's something you're going to need to do to process what's going on here. I also see that Six of Coins is showing up for you in reverse here. This is a card of assessment of value. This is a card of considering who's the haves, who's the have-nots. In the reverse position, it's saying you don't want to look at it. You don't want to look at, you know, where you are in terms of what you have, what you don't have, who has certain values. You know, with these cards in alignment, it may say, if you're in a relationship with a water sign, there may be saying, you know, resistance to looking at these are qualities they have, these are qualities they don't have, and it's causing problems in the relationship. I mean, these cards, I'm just being very frank and very honest with you, Aquarius, because these cards, this is that Knight of Cups, so water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This is an assessment of values. Who has it, who doesn't have it. And this is exchange of hearts. Two of Cups is relationship energy. It can be an affair. It can be a loving relationship. It's basically a sharing of hearts. With all three of these in the reverse position, it might be time to take a hard look at whether that water sign person, if you're involved with a water sign person, has the values that you are wanting, and whether that's causing friction in the relationship, or whether you want to continue with that relationship. I'm just being very frank with you about what these three cards in alignment mean. Again, it could just be a message of the heart that you are, still considering what values you want in a partner, and therefore it's not time for relationship, or it's the values of the message of the heart are complicating relationship issues. But if you are in relationship with a water sign, you may be just confronting some sadness or some loss that they didn't have the values that you want them to, or the values that you're looking for. Because this is all about weighing things about knowledge, power, value, resource, who has it, who doesn't have it. And that could be part of what you're grieving over, because it didn't turn out to be the rosy Two of Cups, exchange of hearts relationship that you were looking for. I don't know. It's going to vary from Aquarius to Aquarius, the difference of meaning. But if this is a Scorpio person who tends to act like a young person, or a Cancer person who tends to act like a young person, or a Pisces person who tends to act like a young person, there's something out of balance in terms of relationship here, especially in regards to money or values. At the end of the month, these two cards are, it looks like the end of the month, Aquarius, is going to be a great time for you. Look at these two cards. These are two of the most positive cards in the deck, the Sun and the World. It basically means that the sun is shining on you, and that all things are possible. The world is in support of you. The whole axis, all four axes of the whole celestial sphere are in support of you, feeling free, feeling unbounded, feeling like you are at the center of your own life. These four axes, this is Leo, the lion, which is representative of fire, of our vitality, of courage. This is you, Aquarius, as represented by the human and the mental element. This eagle represents Scorpio, which is talks about emotion and renewal. It's got Phoenix energy to it. And then this is the bull, which represents the earth element, which is groundedness, consistency, diligence. So it's when all four poles of the universe line up and support you, and then the sun is just shining down on you. There's a lot of radiance here. There's a lot of these, basically these two cards are saying that the universe and the sun are just like shining on you and supporting you. It's your time in the sun, Aquarius, essentially, at the end of the month. So really enjoy that. There's a way in which, and also too, by the way, these are, you see this couple here, and this is a time of the sun shining down on this couple. It's when flowers bloom. It's when there's radiance. And there is a certain element in sun of twin energy. It's kind of echoed with this moon energy with the two towers. What the sun is about is integration, recognizing both the female and the male side of yourself and integrating those two. You may be seeing yourself in someone else. And it's when you integrate both sides of yourself. In fact, integration of your subconscious self with your conscious self is what the sun is about too. So you may, through the month of August, have done a lot of work and reflection and come to this point of happiness, of sunniness, of liveliness and vitality through having done this work. And it's really about acknowledging this truth here, Aquarius. There is someone that's showing up, by the way, at the end of the month. This could be you or someone else who is, kind of showing reckless behavior. This card, I sometimes call it putting your head in the tiger's mouth. And Seven of Swords is all about cutting corners, me behavior. Like, I'm going to get mine at whatever costs. you know, I'm just gonna, it's someone who's stealing these 5 swords away, and they're doing it in front of everyone else. And they're, you know, they think they're hidden, but people can see what they're doing. It's dishonest behavior. So if there's someone in your environment who's showing up as deceitful or lying or cheating or just being very sort of self-centered and saying, I'm going to do this thing for me at all costs, just be aware of that. Be sure that that's not you, Aquarius. This could be you, like I said, you or someone else, but you're going to see right through it. The sun is shining on that. The sun, you know, they think they're getting away with something, but it's totally obvious. And it looks like you're not going to be affected by that. It looks like you might be able to call, you know, call them out on it. And it looks like you're just too happy in some ways to care because the sun and the radiance of everything that's going on, this is just, enjoy the end of August, Aquarius. It's going to be a great time for you. The only thing that might be, you know, a certain cloud in your otherwise cloudless sky is this relationship energy. 2 of Cups in the upright position means, you know, relationship, exchange of hearts. It's one of the best cards for relationship. But in the reverse position, it's saying that might not be your focus. That might not be what's making you happy. There might be squabbles, or you might not be in the relationship you want to be in, or there's something going on with your relationship that isn't quite in order, or there's some you know, I'm even wondering if this 7 of Swords has to do with it, where you're not seeing the relationship exactly as it is. But don't let that hamper you, Aquarius. This stuff is, you're in a good place.